Level 1, the helot. You wake before dawn. The chains are already on. They never come off. Your ankles are raw from the iron. The fields stretch endlessly. Barley needs cutting. Olives need picking. The Spartan overseer watches from his horse. You keep your head down. That is the correct answer. Your hands bleed on the scythe handle. The sun climbs. Your back burns. The other helots work in silence. Speaking draws attention. Attention brings the whip. You've learned this. Everyone learns this. The overseer rides closer. You work faster. Sweat stings your eyes. The chains rub deeper. Blood seeps through the bandages you made from torn cloth. The barley falls in neat rows. That counts for something. Your quota exists somewhere. You never know what it is. You just know when you fail to meet it. The morning stretches into afternoon. Your water ration disappeared hours ago, but the well is for Spartans only. The dust coats your throat until swallowing feels like grinding stone. You watch a Spartan citizen approach the field boundary, barely 20 years old, his red cloak bright against the brown earth. He carries a spear casually, like you might carry a walking stick. His eyes scan the working helots, the way you might examine livestock. You've heard the stories. Any Spartan can kill any helot for any reason. No trial, no questions, no consequences. The body gets thrown in the same pit where they dump diseased cattle. Your mother told you about the krypteia, the secret police who hunt helots for sport in the mountains. Young Spartans earning their citizenship by taking helot lives. She whispered this while mending the chains that would eventually circle your own ankles. The citizen moves on. You return to cutting barley. Your grandmother worked these same fields, her grandmother before that. The chains have worn smooth grooves in the stone where generations of helots have dragged them through this routine. The barley you harvest feeds Spartan warriors who train while you work. The olives you press become oil that lights their symposiums while you sleep on dirt floors. Evening brings the final count. The overseer tallies your work against marks on his tablet. Today you've met the invisible standard. Tomorrow the standard might change. It always might change. You trudge back to the helot quarters, chains scraping the hard-packed earth. The sound echoes off stone walls that contain 700 helots in a space meant for 200. Your meal is barley porridge and whatever vegetables didn't sell at market. The same meal your father ate. The same meal his father ate. You'll eat it for the rest of your life, however long that proves to be. Some helots live to see grandchildren. Others disappear during the annual declaration of war that makes killing helots officially legal rather than merely tolerated. You sleep on straw that hasn't been changed in months. Tomorrow you'll wake before dawn. The chains will still be on. They never come off. A new helot arrives today, maybe 10 years old, looking around with fresh terror at the life that stretches ahead. The cycle continues. Level 2, the mothax. You train with the Spartan boys, but you sleep apart. Always apart. Your father was a helot who fought well enough to earn you this chance. That is the difference between you and them. They were born to this. You were granted it. The bronze spear feels the same in your hands. The shield weighs the same on your arm. But when the paidiskos calls out lineages during evening inspection, your name comes last. The sons of Sparta first. The mothax after. That is the order. You run the same distances. 20 stadia before dawn, your feet pounding the same rocky ground as theirs. You wrestle in the same dust. You memorize the same war songs, the same laws of Lycurgus. Your muscles burn the same way. Your knuckles split the same way when you practice with the wooden swords. But you eat less. The Spartan boys receive their black broth first. You wait. Sometimes there is enough left, sometimes there is not. You learn to move fast when food appears. You learn to hide pieces of barley cake in your chiton for later. The other mothax understand. You share what you have. Aristomenes gives you half his dried fish when your bowl comes up empty. You give him your extra olive oil when his father visits and brings nothing. The Spartan boys do not share. They do not need to. You excel at stealth exercises. You have to. When they send you to steal food from the helot villages, you know which houses to avoid, which dogs will bark, which paths the krypteia use for their night hunts. Your mother still lives in one of those houses. You do not steal from hers. The instructors notice your skill. Cleomenes, the younger, watches you scale the wall of the practice fortress without making sound. He nods. That counts for something. But he does not invite you to sit with the Spartan boys during lessons on tactics. You stand at the back with the other mothax. Your body grows harder. Your shoulders broaden from carrying the hoplite shield for hours. Your calves turn to stone from running mountain paths. But your stomach stays hollow. The Spartan boys grow too, but they grow larger, better fed. Their armor fits properly. Yours hangs loose in places, tight in others. You learn to fight like them, to think like them, to recite the laws like them. But when visitors come to observe training, they watch the Spartan boys. You are background, necessary but not noteworthy. The sons of citizens who will become citizens themselves. At night, you lie on your thin blanket in the mothax quarters. Through the stone wall, you hear the Spartan boys talking quietly about their father's campaigns, their grandfather's victories, their inheritance of Claros land and helot families. You listen to stories of a world you train for but will never fully enter. Your hands are as callous as theirs. Your scars match theirs, but theirs tell stories of bloodline and birthright. Yours tell stories of earning and exception. The training continues. The gap remains. Level 3, the paidiskos. You sleep on the ground with 20 other boys. The straw is thin. The stones underneath press into your ribs. You learn to curl around the cold. You learn to breathe quietly when the older boys walk past your sleeping area after dark. Your chiton is the same rough wool everyone wears, one piece of cloth. You wash it in the river when the older boys allow you to leave the barracks. Sometimes that is twice a week, sometimes it is not. The cloth itches against your skin until your skin stops noticing. The mess hall serves black broth, pork blood mixed with vinegar and salt. The older boys eat first. They take what they want. You eat what remains. Some nights there is bread, most nights there is not. Your stomach learns to be quiet about hunger. You practice with wooden swords in the agoge courtyard. Your hands blister. The blisters pop. New skin grows harder underneath. The paidiskos walks between the rows of boys swinging practice weapons. His stick finds the ones who move wrong. Your shoulders remember every correction. The older boys test you after weapons training. They choose one boy each day. Today it is you. They circle around while you stand in the center. They want to see if you will cry. You do not cry. They push harder. You still do not cry. That is the correct answer. You steal food from the market when they tell you to steal food. Getting caught means a beating from the traders. Not bringing back food means a beating from the older boys. You learn to move through shadows. You learn to read faces. You learn that hungry boys move faster than fed boys. Your mother lives 3 streets away from the barracks. You are not allowed to see her. Sometimes you glimpse her face in the crowd during festival days. She sees you too. Neither of you acknowledges the other. That is how it works now. That counts for something. The weak boys disappear during winter. They develop fevers. They cough blood into their sleeping straw. The paidiskos removes their bodies before morning formation. Nobody speaks their names after that. You learn to watch for signs of weakness in yourself. Combat training begins at first light. Wrestling, boxing, running with full armor. Your nose breaks twice before it heals crooked. Your ribs learn to bend without snapping. The instructors push until boys collapse. The boys who do not get up are sent home. You always get up. You memorize the laws of Lycurgus, the verses about duty and honor and death before dishonor. You recite them while practicing spear thrusts. You recite them while cleaning weapons. The words become rhythm. The rhythm becomes breathing. The breathing becomes who you are. The older boys graduate to become mirakion. New 7-year-olds arrive to take their sleeping spaces. You watch the new ones cry for their mothers on the first night. You remember crying for yours. Now you are the older boy deciding if they eat tonight. Level 4, the mirakion. You are 14. Your voice cracks when the older boys bark orders. That is the correct answer. You swallow the sound and keep moving. The agoge has stripped away the last softness from your childhood. What remains is sinew and calculation. You steal to eat, not because they forbid it, because they expect it. The daily ration of barley gruel keeps you alive, but leaves your ribs showing through your skin. So you slip into the helot quarters after dark. You memorize which floorboards creak. You know where they store the cheese wheels and dried figs. Your fingers work in complete darkness, while your ears track every footstep outside. Getting caught means 20 lashes across your back. Not for stealing, for being clumsy enough to get caught. The distinction matters. They want you to take what you need. They want you to do it without leaving evidence. This is how Spartans learn to live off enemy territory. This is how they learn that survival requires breaking other people's rules while following your own. Your body is changing. The morning runs that once left you gasping now feel natural. Your legs have grown longer and harder. The wooden sword feels lighter in your grip. You can throw a javelin 50 paces and hit what you aim for 7 times out of 10. That counts for something. But your stomach still gnaws at itself every night. Your hip bones press sharp against your sleeping mat. The older mirakion teach you which helots to avoid and which ones will look the other way. You learn that the cook with the twisted arm trades information for safety. You learn that the shepherd's wife hides extra bread in the same place every 3rd day. You learn to read the patrol schedules by watching shadows. Knowledge becomes a weapon. Hunger becomes a teacher. You practice moving without sound. The instructors drop pebbles behind you while you walk. If they hear your footstep, you run laps until your legs give out. You learn to place each foot with the precision of a cat. You learn to control your breathing so it makes no noise. You learn that your body can do things your mind insists are impossible. The beatings continue but change purpose. They no longer break you down. They teach endurance. How long can you take pain without making sound? How fast does your body recover? How much damage can you absorb and still function the next day? Your back carries permanent welts. Your shins are mapped with bruises that never fully heal. You share sleeping space with 5 other boys. The room smells like sweat and wool and the olive oil they rub on wounds. No one speaks after dark. You all lie awake, listening to each other breathe. Sometimes one of you cries quietly into the straw. No one acknowledges this. No one offers comfort. Weakness shared is still weakness. Winter arrives and the stealing becomes harder. Helots guard their stores more carefully. Your ribs become more visible. 2 boys in your group collapse during training and do not get up. They are taken away. You do not see them again. You steal their portions when no one is looking. That is the correct answer. Level 5, the hebontes. You are 18. You have survived 7 years of the agoge. Your body is scarred leather stretched over muscle and bone. Your feet know every stone path in Laconia. The elders watch you differently now. They hand you a knife in the darkness before dawn. No ceremony, no words, just cold iron against your palm and a nod toward the hills where the helots sleep. This is krypteia, the secret thing, the final education before you become a man. You move through olive groves like smoke. Your breathing is controlled. Your footsteps make no sound on the rocky soil. Years of night exercises have taught you to see in darkness, to feel vibration through your soles, to smell fear on the wind. These skills were always building toward this moment. The helot settlements spread below you in the valley. Cooking fires have died to embers. Dogs sleep, children dream. You count the huts. You memorize the paths between them. You select your target the way you were taught to select the weakest opponent in pancration, methodically, without emotion. The helot is middle-aged, strong enough to be dangerous if he lives, old enough to remember when his grandfather spoke of rebellion. He works the barley fields that feed Sparta. He has never held a spear. He dies quietly in his sleep, your hand over his mouth, your knife between his ribs. His blood is warm on your fingers. It smells like copper and earth. You feel nothing. This surprises you less than you expected. 7 years of conditioning have prepared you for this moment. Violence is just another skill, like wrestling or reading terrain. You have been taught that helots exist to serve Sparta. Dead helots cannot rebel. Therefore, this is service to the state. You return to the hills before sunrise. The other hebontes are scattered across the countryside, each with their own assignment. Some will return having killed, others will return having watched and learned. All will return changed. The elders expect this, they count on it. The krypteia continues for months. You learn to move between worlds. During the day, you attend lectures on Homer and practice with the spear. You debate philosophy and memorize the laws of Lycurgus. At night, you hunt human beings through the darkness. Both activities are education. Both prepare you for citizenship. Your hands grow steady with a knife. Your eyes adjust faster to darkness. You can track a running man across rocky ground by sound alone. You learn which villages have dogs that bark and which have dogs that bite. You discover that killing becomes easier with repetition, like any other skill. The other boys in your year change too. Some grow quiet and distant. Others develop a particular stillness that makes helots step aside when they pass. All of you understand something now that you did not understand before. Violence is not passion. Violence is policy. The state requires both your obedience and your capacity for necessary brutality. When the krypteia ends, you are no longer a boy. Your childhood died in those dark hills, along with the helots you selected. The transition happened so gradually, you barely noticed. One morning you wake up and realize you think differently. You see helots differently. You see yourself differently. You are ready for the next phase of your education. Level 6, the irenes. You hold the whip, 20 years old, and your hands know its weight the way they know hunger. The same leather that opened your back now rests in your palm. The boys lined up before you are 12, maybe 13. Their eyes hold the same fear yours once did. You remember every stroke you received, every lesson carved into skin. Now you deliver them. The agoge demands perfection. These boys will learn or they will break. There is no middle ground. You raise the whip and bring it down across shoulders that shake with effort. The crack echoes off stone walls. Blood appears. The boy does not cry out. That is the correct answer. Your barracks smell of sweat and leather and the iron tang of training wounds. You sleep on straw that scratches skin already scarred from years of discipline. The boys watch you constantly. They see strength. They do not see how your hands tremble in the dark when you remember being their age. You teach them to steal food without being caught, to endure pain without sound, to kill with blade and spear and bare hands if necessary. When they fail, the whip teaches them better. When they succeed, you nod. Once. That counts for something. The helots serve your meals now. Barley porridge, black broth that tastes like dirt and animal blood. You eat what you are given, and you are grateful. The boys eat less. Hunger sharpens the mind, hardens the body. You learn this lesson on your own empty belly. You drill them in formation fighting, shield wall tactics, the proper grip on a spear shaft, how to step over the body of the man beside you when he falls, how to hold the line when arrows black out the sun. Your voice carries the authority of someone who has survived what they must survive. At night, you patrol the helot quarters. Your sword stays sharp. Your eyes stay open. The state slaves outnumber Spartans 20-1. They harvest the food. They weave the cloth. They build the walls. They hate you with a hatred that runs deeper than rivers. You hunt them in the dark to remind them of their place. The krypteia trains you in silent killing. You learn which helots speak too boldly of freedom, which ones gather in groups larger than 3, which ones look Spartan citizens in the eye instead of at the ground. Your blade finds their throats on moonless nights. The bodies disappear before dawn. Your mother sends no letters. Your father offers no praise. You have not seen them in 8 years. The state is your family now. These boys are your responsibility. Their strength or weakness reflects on you. Their survival depends on lessons you carve into their bones. You are harder than the 12-year-old who first entered these walls, stronger than the 15-year-old who learned to kill. But something inside you has gone quiet, something that used to feel pain for others. The whip falls easier now. The blade finds flesh without hesitation. The boys grow stronger under your instruction. They learn to hate comfort, to embrace suffering, to find honor in scars. One day, they will hold the whip themselves. Level 7, the hoplite. You carry 70 pounds of bronze and iron into battle. The aspis shield weighs 16 pounds alone. Your left arm knows this weight like breathing. The spear is 9 feet of Corinthian ash with an iron point that can punch through bronze. You polish it every morning until the metal reflects your face back distorted. Your position in the phalanx is earned, not assigned. The men to your left and right chose you. They trust you to hold the line when the Othismos begins. That grinding push of shield against shield, where men die standing up, crushed between bronze walls, they cannot escape. You own your equipment, every piece. The helmet cost 3 months of a craftsman's wages. The corselet, another 2. Your family went without meat so you could stand here properly armed. A hoplite without bronze is not a hoplite. He is debris. The red cloak marks you as Spartan. Every enemy knows what it means. They break formation when they see the lambda painted on your shield. Sometimes, other times they press harder, knowing that killing you brings honor to their families for generations. You march in step with 300 others. Your feet know the rhythm. Left foot forward with the spear thrust. Right foot back with the shield raised. The sound is like thunder moving across the earth. Dust rises in clouds that choke the throat and coat the bronze until you taste metal with every breath. The battlefield is not what poets describe. It smells like bronze heating in the sun and bowels releasing in fear. Men pray to gods who do not answer. The lucky ones die quickly from spear points. Others are trampled into the earth by their own brothers who cannot stop moving forward. You sleep on stone when campaigns stretch into months. Your hip bones ache against the ground. The corselet leaves permanent grooves in your shoulders. Your spear hand is always stiff in the mornings. You wake before dawn to oil the bronze, because rust means death. Your wife sees you for 2 months each year between campaigns. Your children grow taller in your absence. Your son is 7 now. He watches you clean your weapons with eyes that already know he will carry them someday. You do not speak of what you have seen. There are no words for the sound a man makes when bronze finds his throat. The wages are enough to keep your kleros running. Barely. Your helots work the land while you carry the spear. This arrangement has lasted 300 years. It will last 300 more if men like you keep holding the line. You have killed 12 enemies in single combat. Their faces visit you in the dark hours before dawn. You remember each one. The boy from Argos who called for his mother. The Athenian who fought for 30 heartbeats with a spear through his chest. They earned clean deaths. That counts for something. The phalanx advances. Bronze catches sunlight like fire. Your shield touches your brother's shield. The line holds. Level 8. The enemotarch. You command 36 men. Their names live in your throat. Aristocles limps on his left foot but never admits it. Cleomenes sees poorly at distance but compensates by listening to footsteps. Pantites has steady hands but panics in close quarters. You know which men sleep through storms and which ones wake at every sound. You know who will hold when the line bends and who needs the man beside him to stay standing. Your position is 4 steps back from the front rank, close enough to see the whites of their eyes, far enough to watch the entire enemotia move as one organism. The bronze of 36 shields catches sunlight like scales on a serpent. When they wheel left, you call the cadence. When they dress ranks, your voice cuts through the noise of 10,000 other men doing the same thing. That voice carries the weight of every drill, every formation, every moment these men have spent learning to think with one mind. You eat with your enemotia, the same black broth, the same barley bread. When meat is scarce, you take your portion last. When wine is distributed, you measure theirs before yours. This is not kindness. This is mathematics. Hungry men break formation. Bitter men leave gaps in the line. Your authority depends on 36 men believing you would die before you let them die badly. The responsibility sits in your chest like a stone. During night watches, you walk the line. You check weapons. You listen to breathing patterns. You can tell when a man is dreaming of home and when he is calculating distances to the enemy camp. Sleep comes in fragments between your obligations. You rest when they rest. You worry when they sleep. Your cloak bears the mark of your rank. A simple bronze pin that catches no light and draws no attention. The men know what it means. Other enemotarchs nod when you pass. The lokagoi speak to you directly now, man to man, commander to commander. You attend the morning briefings, where tactics are discussed and orders flow down from the polemarch. You know which hills the enemy holds and how many ships anchor in their harbor. Information has weight. Knowledge makes you complicit. You carry a sword now in addition to your spear. The blade has seen use. Blood leaves stains that water cannot wash away completely. The metal remembers every edge it has met, every bone it has turned. Your hands remember the vibration that travels up the bronze when it finds its mark. These memories accumulate like scar tissue. Training never stops. You drill your enemotarch until their movements become reflex. Right wheel, left wheel, countermarch, advance in echelon. The commands leave your mouth before your mind forms the words. Muscle remembers what consciousness forgets. Perfect execution requires the elimination of thought. You are teaching 36 men to stop being individuals. New E4s arrive from the barracks. 18 years old, clean bronze, uncertain steps. They watch your men move and think they understand what they are seeing. They have no idea what it costs to make 36 bodies think with one mind. They are about to learn. Level 9, the polemarch. You command 600 warriors. Your voice carries across the phalanx formation like thunder rolling through bronze. When you speak, spears shift. When you point, men die. The red cloak on your shoulders weighs more than armor ever did. The E4s handed you this command in the council chamber. 5 old men who never leave the city walls. They spoke of duty and honor while their eyes calculated your worth. You know what they did not say. Return victorious or do not return at all. Sparta has no use for failed commanders. Your tent sits apart from the others. Always. Command isolates like a plague. You eat alone while your men share wine around their fires. You hear their laughter drift through the night air. You remember that sound from when you were one of them. That was a lifetime ago. The battle plans spread across your table show every detail. Terrain mapped to the stride. Enemy positions marked in red ochre. Supply lines drawn with mathematical precision. You have studied these scrolls until your eyes burn. Every decision flows from your mind into 600 lives. Get it wrong, and you doom them all. Get it right, and they might live to see another dawn. Your body carries the weight of previous campaigns. The scar across your ribs from when you fought in the front ranks. The limp that comes with rain earned at Mantinea. The gray threading through your hair that appeared after Leuctra. Each mark tells the story of decisions that kept other men breathing. You inspect the phalanx at first light. Bronze gleams in perfect rows. Shields locked. Spears angled exactly. These are the finest warriors in the world, and they wait for your word. Some have sons training in the agoge. Some have fathers buried under foreign soil. All of them trust you to bring them home. The enemy appears across the valley at midday, thousands strong. Their shields catch the sun like scales on a serpent. You count their formations while your heart hammers against your ribs. This is the moment everything depends on. Your training, your experience, your willingness to sacrifice pieces to win the game. You give the order to advance. Your voice does not shake. It cannot. 600 men need to hear certainty, even when you feel none. The phalanx moves forward like a bronze avalanche. Beautiful, terrible, unstoppable when led correctly, suicidal when led poorly. The E4s wait in Sparta. They sit in their marble chairs and debate philosophy while you march towards steel and blood. If you return defeated, they will vote. 5 raised hands and you become nothing. Exiled, erased, your name struck from the stones. Your staff officers look to you for final orders. Young commanders learning the weight of leadership. They see strength in your bearing. They do not see the sleepless nights. They do not see the names you carry of men who followed your orders into the ground. Victory or exile. There is no middle ground for a polemarch. The horns sound, the bronze wave crashes forward. History holds its breath. Level 10, the king. You wear the diadem of Heracles. The bloodline flows through your veins, traced back through 20 generations to the son of Zeus himself. Divine right courses through you like poison and power combined. The other throne sits 10 feet away. Always occupied. Always watching. You lead armies into battle because the law demands it. Your feet touch the ground first when crossing enemy territory. Your spear draws first blood. The men see their king charge, and they follow, screaming the ancient war cry that splits the morning air. You return with your shield or on it, as your mother told you when you were 7 years old. The dual kingship means every decision faces scrutiny. The other king questions your judgment in the council chamber. The ephors record your words, searching for signs of tyranny. You propose a campaign against Athens. He argues for Thebes. The debate stretches through the night while your forces wait and your enemies prepare. You perform the sacred rituals at dawn, slaughter the goat, read the entrails, interpret the will of the gods for your people. The priests nod approval, but their eyes hold calculation. Everyone serves someone. Even kings serve the gods, the laws, the endless hunger of Sparta for more land, more slaves, more glory. Your son trains in the agoge. He is 12 years old, and you see him twice per year during religious festivals. He addresses you as Basileus, not father. His back bears whip marks from failing to steal his dinner successfully. That is the correct answer. Your bloodline earns him nothing but expectation and a longer fall if he proves weak. You sleep 4 hours per night. The responsibilities multiply with the power. Grain shipments from the helots, border disputes with Messenia. Intelligence reports from your network of Periosi merchants. Marriage alliances with Corinth and Thebes. Every decision cascades through thousands of lives. Every mistake costs blood. The council chamber fills with smoke from oil lamps burning too long. Maps cover every surface. Markers show helot uprisings in the south, Athenian ships moving along the coast, Theban infantry massing near your northern border. You trace supply lines with your finger, while the other king argues logistics and the ephors demand answers you do not have. Your queen manages the household and raises daughters you barely know. She speaks 4 languages and commands respect from foreign ambassadors. Her political mind rivals yours, but the law keeps her from council meetings. You discuss strategy in private moments, between dawn rituals and evening reports. The diadem weighs nothing. The crown itself is gold leaf over bronze, lighter than a child's toy. The weight comes from elsewhere, from the names of boys who died following your orders, from cities burned on your command, from the knowledge that weakness means death, exile, or worse. A 7-year-old boy stands naked in the morning cold. His mother cuts his hair short and oils his skin. She tells him he belongs to Sparta now. The barracks instructor waits by the door, leather whip coiled at his belt. They always do. The cycle continues.